Okay. I'm trying to balance. I'm trying to balance between making content on the new patch units, like these are good and these are bad, without. See, I want to get multiple videos out. So the Dwarf Bolt Thrower one came out this morning. I think I'm going to split up the rest of the stuff I noticed into 2 videos, because I want to get some content out of it instead of spending a ton of time on one video. But I also don't want to split it up into every single thing gets its own video. So we'll make 2. 2? Sound good. So this is the first of 2. Big changes coming in with patch 5.1. Most of them are exciting. The Tomb King has got several buffs, but 2 of the big ones are collision attacks for the Necro Sphinx and Kemrian War Sphinx, the giant kitties. So when they collide with the model, that'll cause damage instead of just knocking things away. And then Skeleton Chariots received the buffs that all Chariots in the game got, but Skeleton Chariots were one of the ones that was closest to being functional already, so I am curious how they do on the charge with the buffs. So first in is going to be our Necro Sphinx friend. The Necro Sphinx is terrible versus infantry, so let's see how he does with these collision damage changes. Now we are fighting just skinks here. These are low armor, low mass units. And so far, the collision is doing okay. Skeleton Chariot's also going to get in there, as Kemrian War Sphinx does as well. And Skeleton Chariot's on the top side. We are going in slow motion because there's a lot to process here. So the 2 big boys on the center with their collisions take out about a 5th or a 6th of the enemy HP. Not bad at all for a frontal charge. And the Chariots are just deleting skink cohorts on the charge, which is beautiful stuff. So I'll go back to normal speed now. Also, splash attacks got reworked a bit, so these guys, the Necro Sphinx and Kemrian War Sphinx, will do a little bit more damage to the skinks overall. But yeah, Chariot's beautiful on the charge. I have noticed, I've gotten to play a couple games since before I got to make this video, and Chariots are fine. I don't think they're meta. I don't think they're really crazy good, but they're fine. I know you're looking at this and like, that's insane damage, all that stuff. Yeah, but if you forget about them for even a second while you're microing an entire army, they take a lot of damage, even against low-tier units, and they don't do as well versus heavy units, which I'm not saying they should. I think they're just kind of fine right now. Shred light infantry like Chariots should lose to other stuff, but the Kemrian War Sphinx and the Necro Sphinx did very well against those skinks as well. Not something to really laugh at too much. So far, liking the little changes there, some positive stuff. All right, attempt 2 here, a little more honest of a thing. We have Chaos Warriors. So this is where the Chariots with non-armor piercing, not high mass could run into some trouble, and maybe the War Sphinx and the Necro Sphinx will do a bit better than versus the Skinks. We'll see. Didn't honestly remember how this went, because I did this test as soon as the patch came out. Significantly less damage on the impact, which is fine. Again, not complaining, just showing you. But they still path through pretty alright, get through these guys without much issue. And meanwhile, now you can see the big bodies of the constructs and their collision damage. They're actually out DPSing the Chariots versus these infantry just because of their armor-piercing values, helping them out quite a lot, whereas the Chariots don't really get that benefit. Chariot's going to go in for a second charge. Again, getting pretty solid damage out, considering we're fighting Chaos Warriors now. And the Sphinxes are just going to run around and have some fun, cleave through these guys. And this is going to be a theme you'll see throughout, but I do feel like a lot of the changes in this patch really helped kill infantry. Like, so many changes helped kill infantry. Another very exciting change. I wasn't sure how much this would help on paper, but in practice, it's been really good. Hell Pit Abominations got collision impacts. That's not what I'm talking about. I just forgot to mention it. But the Doomflayers, getting more models, getting some buffs here and there. They collide with each other less. And with their armor piercing, I wonder how they'll do versus these Chaos Warriors as opposed to the Tomb King Chariots. Decent little damage. Still not crazy amounts versus the Chaos Warriors. And then my Hell Pits are in the Thing and the Hell Pit Abomination. Now the Hell Pits do get the collision impact damage stuff, but also their decreased splash damage, meaning all of their weapon strength goes into fewer models, will help out quite a lot. And Hell Pits are normally hot garbage at killing infantry, and they're doing okay here. Not amazing, but okay. The Doomflayers that pulled out of combat, the Dwarf Thing Menace, are fine, while the ones that stayed in combat, they've taken a little bit of damage, but look how much they've done against the Chaos Warriors. It really looks like Doomflayers are more meant to stay in a fight rather than charge in and out, in and out. Dwarf Thing Menace will hop back in and hurt these Chaos Warriors. But you see, the Thing especially with his increased weapon strength due to being an ROR, but also fluid injection, he's doing a little bit better than the regular Hell Pit, but both are doing fine. So both these units getting some good buffs. against infantry. Some people in my Discord were reporting that Doomflayers did well versus cavalry. I tried them versus Empire Knights, and it wasn't that impressive, but I don't know. I ran one test. I was like, this is whatever, and then I tested them versus infantry, and liked what I saw, so didn't include that in the video. Maybe your tests against cavalry will vary, but yeah. Doomflayer's pretty good. Hell Pit's probably still hot garbage, but, like, better, I guess. It's something. Alright. I think this is the last test of this type, and then we'll move on, but I do have 2 Marauder Chariots who supposedly got the Chariot buffs versus Storm Vermin who got buffed, and then we have Mammoths. The War Mammoth and Feral Mammoth got collision damage. The Marauder Chariots, they still kind of suck. As you can see, they get caught in the Storm Vermin and take about as much damage as the Storm Vermin do. So that's pretty brutal. I don't know, they just don't seem to have the mass to do it. And they only have 4 models still, which it seems like the Chariots that are doing better are the ones that have 12 or 8 models. Mammoths do have impact damage, but they're just jank as fuck. And I know that the Storm Vermin crossed paths at the start, which made it hard for the Mammoths to get their charges off. But look at this. This fucking Mammoth has 56 speed and it can't catch the Storm Vermin for some reason. And then this one starts its charge animation and then just kind of loses it and walks around. There we got a good charge, but it's still not even that impressive of damage. And this Mammoth's just walking in place, so like... Mammoth's got some buffs. They got the collision buffs, and then they got the less splash buffs that a lot of monsters got. So they are better, but I still honestly think Mammoths are fucking garbage. That was a good charge. Did some okay damage there. But it's underwhelming. Again, buffs are good, but much like the Hell Pit, I think this just takes a unit from being literal trash to being, like, suboptimal. I hardly think they're meta. Alright. I wasn't sure how to end this video, where to do the cutoff, so I guess we'll do this here. It doesn't deserve its own video because Anticity already did a video on it. I'm sure other people too. Turin did a live cast on it. So you all already know about this, but for anyone who doesn't, there's a very, very, very potent bug in the game right now. So for comparison, I took the High Elves, 2 Mages of Fire, and Archmage of Fire with all the Winds of Magic regen they can with 3 Books of Hoeth and 2 Starwood Staffs, just to prove a point about how quickly they can cast spells. Alright, we are 30 seconds on the clock. Let's fast forward. Dive in. We get 1 Piercing Bolts of Burning, 2 Piercing Bolts of Burning. One Burning Head. And I'm not waiting on cooldowns, I'm out of Winds of Magic. Throw out a Fireball quick. Nope, another Piercing Bolts of Burning. So 3 Piercing Bolts of Burning, a Burning Head, and a Fireball. That is 5 spells, none of which were overcast. And another Piercing Bolts of Burning. That is 6 spells cast in 5 minutes. Huzzah. What was the point of that? Well, if you know what the bug is, then you know what I'm about to show you. If you don't know what the bug is, then that seemed pointless. So Tzeentch are currently bussin', because if you have the War Shrine of Tzeentch is bugged, which, again, Anticity did a video where he was the POV, so I'm just casting it from a silly perspective. But the Cultists of Tzeentch on their War Shrines, their Giver of Arcane Glory is bugged, where it gives you way too much power recharge and power reserves per second. So you can, like, literally never run out of mana. It's insane. You have infinite reserves, and it just recharges so fucking fast. So you can start out a game and just stack up a bunch of blue horrors and then kill them off. I have the Changeling turn into Lord Croak, because I mistakenly thought that Deliverance of Itza didn't have a cooldown. I thought it just had a mana cost. So I was going to do... just spam out a whole bunch of Deliverance of Itzas, but it does actually have a cooldown, so whoops. Anyway, overcast the Piercing Bolts of Burning on my own troops to charge up that Giver of Arcane Glory up to 62%. You can see I'm getting Spell Mastery, Reserves per second, and Power Recharge for both the Cultists, and they stack off of each other, so you could get just 2 of these guys and do good. A Burning Head through my own troops. We're a minute into the game, and I've just been fucking around with my own troops, but we are now 100% stacked. I'm getting 0.2 reserves per second per caster, and then I think it stacks on itself. So now we'll go in. I have done an overcasted Piercing Bolts of Burning, an undercasted Burning Head so far. All right. Croak is in. That is a tier 3 Lord Croak ability. There's a Doom Bolt of Tzeentch, a tier 2 Lord Croak ability, an undercasted Piercing Bolts, an undercasted Piercing Bolts, 2 Flame Storms already, another medium cast Lord Croak ability, plus the tier 3 Tzeentch army ability from how many spells I've been casting, a Burning Head through the center, then a tier 2 Lord Croak ability coming through as well, another Piercing Bolts of Burning, another Piercing Bolts of Burning, a tier 1 Lord Croak ability, a second Doom Bolt, the tier 2 army ability of Tzeentch, another Flame Storm, a tier 1 Lord Croak ability. I'm casting some fireballs here and there at the Chaos Sorcerer, the Chaos Lord of Nurgle to try and kill him off. In comes a tier 3 Lord Croak ability, another fireball there, tier 3 army ability of Tzeentch to kill off all these guys. Another Doom Bolt, trying to hit this guy. I've cast so many spells that I have all of the army abilities I want. There's a tier 3 Lord Croak spell. As I keep throwing out fireballs, there's a tier 1 spell. And that was in 6 minutes. We cast all of the fucking spells. And, yeah. Those are broken. Those are broken. You're playing on League of Legends, it'd be Earth mode, where you just have, like, no cooldowns. You don't have to wait for anything. You cast all the spells. And in 6 minutes, I got 2 tier 3 army abilities of Tzeentch, 3 Doom Bolts, I think, and I was constantly casting Arcane Surge. Just whenever it was off cooldown, I was casting it. So yeah, those are broken. Those are broken. They will be banned from every tournament, for sure. I know Turin was already banning them, so not great. Rawr. Subscribe, yes, yes.